Welcome back to our Learning and Teaching podcast. Today we're answering the most pressing question of the term. How do you circulate and live mark when you have a challenging class? I'm delighted to be joined by Rav Dhindsa today. Hi, Rav.
Hello.
So I was thinking, I'll share a strategy that can be used by staff, and I was hoping you could critique it for us. So tell us what would work for our context, what wouldn't work for our context, and if there are any other considerations we might want to think about given the students that we have here. The first strategy is, don't forget to stand and scan. And I think this one can feel a little counterintuitive, especially when you're keen to start live marking. Your instinct is to move straight away and go around the room. But without that initial pause, behaviour can often slip before you've even started marking. So that stand and scan builds almost like the platform for circulation and helps to establish like a calm and controlled atmosphere. So that's the rationale. What do you think?
Firstly, thank you for having me on. And in regards to stand and scan, I completely agree. What's really important with stand and scan, I feel, is the explanation before. So putting yourself in a position where you're confident enough to go to the back of the class or go to the side of the class and just stand and scan. So that all starts with your explanation. So before you even get that moment to go and stand and scan, does your board have the relevant sentence starters or relevant hint boxes that some students may need? Have you asked the student to repeat the task back and you've deliberately picked that student on purpose? Do you know that there is any SEN or PP students who may just need to be prepped before you begin? Have students had a chance to ask any questions? Have they been told it's an independent task or a paired task? So the explanation before stand and scan needs to be perfect. And when that is in a position where you know everyone will access the task, they know what to do, then standing to the side or back and just monitoring, just one of the most powerful moments in a lesson.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good point. And like, I guess we're saying that everything you're doing in that lesson is intentional and it is deliberate. So the setup is, deliberate. And even when you're standing and when you're scanning with purpose. You're not just standing still. So there's a conscious effort being made at every
Definitely.
point. Okay, great, thanks. Our second strategy is start small and build up. So when you have a challenging class, it's about gradually increasing how many students you can live mark within each lesson. So maybe at first it's just 2 students. And then the next week you try and work up to 3 and then 4 and then so on. So it builds in scale. And so hopefully over time it becomes routine. And I guess once that does happen, you almost see a shift from it being an opportunity to become distracted and then just part of a classroom norm. What do you think?
I'd agree. The start small and build up, especially if you have a challenging class. Like you mentioned, you want to build that atmosphere of, is Sir going to mark my work? Is Miss going to mark my work? If Miss takes it and puts it underneath the visualizer, is it going to be marked nicely? Am I going to be proud of what I've produced? So building that culture is quite important. And I know at the start it'll be difficult, but like you've said, maybe when you're circulating, tactically marking 2 students deliberately, maybe in those early moments when you're first trialing it, take a scan of the room, mark 2, maybe take one of the best ones and just put it under the visualizer and really praise that young person to begin with. I'd like to make this a routine or habit in our lessons. Let's have a look at this answer. It's fantastic. What have they done well? Encourage conversation with it. Maybe reward that student with a postcard. So different ways of just positively reinforcing those that are doing the live marking, those that are doing the work a lot better. And then in a similar vein, once you get that culture where you need it through the praise, I then move on to the misconceptions part. So even if the first 1 or 2 lessons is more heavily involved on oh, let's celebrate, amazing character went postcard, let's have a look. Once you built that culture, then maybe the second or third lesson after, it's okay, let's have a look at this one. Okay, it's not just a celebration today, guys. We need to work together. What can they do to improve? And that's where you can address misconceptions, link it to anything in regards to the curriculum or exam that you need to link it to, and just get that building, but really get it through positive reinforcement at the start.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a really nice idea about how all of this ties into the culture of the classroom. And I guess if it becomes part of a routine, then it's going to settle students rather than confusing them, because we want things to be predictable in that classroom, and that's what creates that consistency. And I guess our idea isn't to stay small forever, but it's building that confidence in manageable steps, both for staff and students. And I guess once that tone is right and once that culture's there, we can maybe move more freely around the classroom and build up that scale.
Definitely. And I know that I don't teach as much anymore, but when heads of year or myself go into lessons, sometimes the students that are the most challenging are the ones that, Miss Sir, can you look at our work? So they want to show us. We need them to want to show their teacher. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It just shows the importance of praise and for all our students. Okay, great. It's been nice to talk through those two. Is there anything else that you would add that you think is important, or any sort of key takeaway for staff?
I think from me, it's really, like I mentioned at the start, the explanation. You really need to get that explanation, that scaffolding, whatever you're doing before that task, perfect and where you want it, to put yourself in a position where you can circulate with purpose and then start to live mark.
Yeah. So I guess we're almost saying that preparation is everything. And so if your expectations, your routines, the seating plan, the explanation is all set up really, really carefully, it's going to make that circulation and live marking easier, because we're not firefighting in the classroom, we're facilitating learning. Okay, brilliant. Thanks so much for coming on the show today. It's been great to talk to you. I just want to state that every teacher, regardless of experience, has something valuable to contribute. So if you are interested in taking part and being involved in the podcast, please contact a member of the Learning and Teaching team.